Hi, my name is Amy Howard. Today I want to show you how to antique and create an old world look with Toscana milk paint. It's very easy to be able to mix. I've shown you in other videos how easy it is to be able to mix it up, how to be able to apply it on different pieces of furniture. But this is actually a technique that you're wanting to be able to kind of experiment on maybe a cabinet door or a small piece of trim like I do. And it allows you to be able to create a composition and a distressing that a chalk-based paint product would never allow you to do. I guess that's why I would say that Toscana milk paint is my absolute favorite product to be able to work with. It's so authentic looking. It can give you such a beautiful patina that people won't know what you did it with. So I want to be able to show you those secrets today. So basically, here's an example of a great piece of trim that I've painted in the Toscana milk paint in a black finish. We call it Noir. And this is what it looks like after it's been waxed with a light antique wax and a dark antique wax and an application of Dust of Ages. But before we got to that waxing process, we actually did antique it, and that's what I want to show you how to do today. So after you've painted the black milk paint on your piece of trim, it's going to be this beautiful dead matte finish. And so the first thing you're going to want to be able to do is take our Antiquing Glaze, make sure you shake it up very, very well. And this is a lot like working with food grade materials, so you don't have to wear any gloves. It's going to be water based. It's going to be really easy to clean up. So you're going to want to use a natural seawool sponge. Now remember, the natural seawool sponge comes from the ocean, and when you get it from a package, it's going to be hard and kind of brittle. We want to make sure that we put it back in its natural state of water. So I'm going to immerse my sponge down into just some regular tap water. Squeeze it out to make sure that it's just pliable now that I can work with it. And I'm going to dip my natural seawool sponge down into my Antiquing Glaze. So I'm going to offload it like this. And before I actually apply that to my piece of trim, I'm going to take one of my China bristle brushes, dip it into the Antiquing Glaze, offload it just a little bit. You never want to go from the Antiquing Glaze onto the piece itself. And watch how I'll take from the base of my brushes and go up, so it looks like I'm fly specking it. And I want you to do that on your drawer or the top of your piece or on your piece of trim. And see how I'm constantly moving my brush around? That way it's not going to be just in one particular place. Now the cool thing about it is you're going to be able to see this show up, but you won't see it until it's had a chance to dry just a little bit. So see how you can see the reticulation and these little circles on here. That's going to quickly be absorbed down into this Toscana milk paint. A lot of people say, well, what does Toscana stand for? It's T-O-S-C-A-N-A. Toscana stands for Tuscany, and it's where this finish originated, was Tuscany. And so just the provincial nature of it, how antiqued it looks, very old world. That's why I wanted to be able to name it Toscana milk paint. So now I'm going to go on and proceed. I'm going to dip that just back into my Antiquing Glaze again, squeeze it out just a little bit. And I'm going to go over the entire finish with the Antiquing Glaze. Now watch as I'm doing this. I'm not dragging it. I'm pressing it into the finish and I'm lifting it up like this. Pressing it in and lifting it up to where the whole thing is going to be saturated with it. Now it's very important that you made your paint 1 part water and 1 part of the powder, because that way it's going to be the right consistency. When you start going in and antiquing it, it'll come off beautifully and you'll have control over it. So now after I've saturated it with this, I am going to make sure that I'm working on a horizontal surface. You don't want to work on an armoire or a chest of drawers with it standing up. You want to lay it down on its side on whatever particular area you're going to be working on. So now I'm going to dip a lint-free rag into my Antiquing Glaze, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to start to wear where this piece would have worn naturally over the years. So the great thing about it is it allows me to be able to have a little bit more control and I want to make sure that it's going to look very authentic. So depending on how much you want to be able to take off is going to be basically dependent on how much of the glaze you're going to use. And you're going to be working in lighter colors as well as darker colors. You're going to see that the amount of paint that you're going to take off is going to be different on both. I love being able to do little benches or small pieces of furniture or chair frames that have a lot of detail on them and literally almost take off about 80% of the paint, just leaving about 20% left and coming back and using the light wax and the dark wax. I'll be sure and show you that on another video, but experiment with it. See how easy it is to work with, and then you get to go enjoy the bragging